In less than a month, this family was struck with a great loss. On the 8th of December 2015, Natasha's daughter was born. It was a day of celebration, but on Christmas Eve, a traditional day of joy, tragedy struck. At only 16 days old, unexpectedly, baby Alexis passed away.
Them 16 days I had with her, I will treasure for the rest of my life. But going from having a baby to losing a baby in such a short space of time, it's broken my heart, it's left me with ongoing mental health issues. It is something I would never ever wish, not even on my worst enemy.
Over the moment she was here, and then our whole world just fell to pieces on Christmas Eve. It was just, everything had gone.
I broke down. Everything just came crashing down, everything just stopped. Everything that we were doing came to a halt. It broke everybody.
The family mourned for months, and in February, they contacted SANS, a charity which supports families who have lost children to stillbirths or neonatal deaths.
The support that you get from SANS is absolutely phenomenal. They are just that support you need when you have nothing, when you feel like your whole world is crumbling. They are the people that help try and piece things back together for you.
We wouldn't have been able to cope with Alexis's passing as well as we have done. Because they're not just there for mum or dad, they're there for the whole family.
As an auntie, you aren't the parent, but it feels as though you're being treated the same as the parents because the support isn't any different. You still get the same support, encouragement from the members from SANS.
And 2 years on, with the support of SANS, Alexis' family, including her sister, still embrace her in their lives.
Thinking back to everything that happened with Alexis, I still feel the pain of losing her, and I think about her all the time. I still love her unconditionally, even everything we've been through. She's still my daughter, and if people ask me how many kids I got, I always say I've got 2, because I do. In my mind, I have 2 children. Whether they agree with that statement or not is their choice. But looking back on it now, since we've had the help of SANS, it is easier to look back on it and think of the good memories. Think of the day she came home, the first outfit she was in, rather than the day I lost her.
She's with us in a special kind of way, and that's what we tell Savannah. Savannah knows that Alexis is a star in the sky, because people bought her stars in Alexis's name after she passed. So, Savannah will say, "Night, Alexis," and she'll look at the stars and she'll say "night." She gives me a tattoo with Alexis's handprints, a high five. And we do talk about Alexis, because she will grow up knowing about Alexis. But we prefer to talk about Alexis, and not for people to think, that we can't talk about her. She has to be pushed in the background, because it doesn't. Alexis is still Natasha's daughter, my granddaughter. If people ask me, how many grandchildren have you got? I've got 2. I've got a heavenly angel baby, and I've got Savannah.
SANS is run by volunteers who themselves have often suffered from a similar situation.
Things were done differently when I lost my daughter. I had Nicole in 1979 and the hospital took her and buried her and I didn't know where she was. So 18 years ago I suddenly dramatically found out where she was. So it all erupted again for me and all the grief came flooding back in. So that's when I got in contact with you at SANS again. And I must admit, I think I probably drove, it was done at the bereavement midwife's house at that time, now it's done at the hospital. And I think I drove to the house 3 months running and never actually went because I didn't know if I could cope with it. And then finally got there, and then suddenly I was co-running the group and I don't quite know how it happened. But I think if you're sort of fully committed to something like this, that's how things evolve. So yeah, and I suddenly turned around and thought, hang on a minute, I'm co-running this group now, how did that happen? I want to do and offer support that I didn't get, and I don't want anybody to feel the way I felt when I lost Nicole, and the fact that there was no support out there, and I don't want anybody to feel like that. So all I'm doing is making sure that they don't feel like that.
Natasha, Sabina, Rebecca and Kim volunteer to help others. But how do they feel that their lost children would view their generosity?
I like to think that Alexis is proud of what we're doing in her memory, because I'm not doing it for my own gratification or anything like that. I'm doing it in her memory. When she passed away, we always said we didn't want her passing to be in vain. We wanted to help other families that had to go through it in any way we could. So the work we do with SANS is helping the families the way we wanted to, really.
It'd be nice to know that they're all, sat upstairs looking down and thinking, Mum and Dad are back together, meeting up with the sons again, you know what I mean, or, them taking the siblings to the park.
I hope all these families' babies are proud of the work that we're doing, because it's all for them. That's why we're doing it, so that they can be proud of us and to help the parents. But I think the main thing is to help the parents through this difficult time.
Aaron Renfrey, That's TV.